Hey guys, what is going on? So last week I started reading to you from I Once Was a Pilgrim. I don't think I posted it on Instagram, but it is on my YouTube channel. So go ahead and listen to the first chapter as we make our way to the second chapter. So the first chapter, I started my pilgrimage in India, and it was an incredible experience. But after India, I went to the true beginning of my journey, and that is Lebanon. And the thing is, I went to Lebanon before I left. And I know I've said this to you before, maybe a year ago or so. People had told me, why are you going to Lebanon? It's so dangerous. It's so this, it's so that. And I didn't listen to them. Because if any of you, if you know me, you know that I very rarely listen to anything that doesn't really echo in my heart. So I didn't listen to them, and I went to Lebanon, no matter how dangerous people told me it would be, no matter how cautious I needed to be, because Lebanon was the most magical place I have ever experienced. It was full of such wonderful people, such wonderful food, such incredible history, and yeah, we're gonna talk about it here. And I titled the chapter, If Another Heaven Exists, I Will Not Go. As you listen, you will understand why. This is the Phoenician Wall, by the way. It is in Batroun, which is on the coast, the Mediterranean Sea. So on the second Monday of May, my plane landed on a strip of land nestled between the westernmost mountains of the Middle East and the easternmost shore of the Mediterranean, the sun slowly descending into the sea. Entering the airport, I hid my passport in the folds of my arms, fearful to reveal the blue of its cover and the emblem of an eagle on its front page. Ahead, the line grew shorter. When finally it was my turn, I cautiously slipped my passport to the customs official, wanting only him to know that I was an American and no one else. But he barely looked up as he carelessly leafed through its pages. "Is this your first time in Lebanon?" he asked. "Yes," was my answer, even though I already knew it was not to be my last. "Welcome to Lebanon," he said, smiling and stamping my passport before returning it without pomp or circumstance. Outside, taxis lined the curb, four-door Mercedes sedans with rusted wheel wells and red license plates. Hailing the first that was found, we drove across the city. Free of the oppressive heat of India, I rolled down the window to welcome the air of the sea, full of salt and hope. The sun slid west, casting shadows over the smaller buildings of the city and gracing the taller ones in light. Soon the day would end. As we weaved wildly through traffic, the taxi driver took long drags from his cigarette, the plumes of smoke rising toward the felted roof. He inhaled deeply, and with each exhale, the smoke whirled higher and then disappeared into the approaching dusk. Driving through the center of the city, we passed the Blue Mosque, its minarets rising from its corners, its dome mirroring the late spring sky. Beyond the mosque is Martyr Square, a monument commemorating the men, women, and children who were executed in Lebanon during Ottoman rule. It is also the landmark that represents a line of demarcation during the Lebanese Civil War that divided the city between Christian and Muslim, East and West, war and peace. In Ashrafia, the last of the golden light glinted off of the crosses that adorned the steeples of Orthodox Armenian churches that rose like hope above the skyline. And then it was dark. Finding the hostel easily, I was greeted by Miriam at the top of the hostel stairs. Her hair fell about her face, so thick and curly that it forever remained untamed. Her eyes, made brighter and bolder with red-rimmed glasses, were wide and wise, as if she both knew the world and was seeing it for the first time. Smiling as I entered, she opened her arms for an embrace that included not 2, but 3 kisses. This is the Middle Eastern way. The warmth of her greeting was a reminder of the conversations we had had before through email, and now, face to face, we spoke as if old friends. Before departing for the night, she led me to the room that was to be my home for the next few weeks, a 4-bed dorm that opened to views of the surrounding apartments and the balcony below. Hungry, I set my bags down and then out to explore this new country, hoping to get lost in Meze and nowhere else. On a dimly lit street, a small restaurant was found where I ordered my first meal in Lebanon, hummus thereafter. Always hummus. I have to make an aside here. You have no idea what this tastes like unless you've been there before or been to like a Lebanese restaurant. If anything, it tastes like heaven, and it transports you there, immediately there. All right, gonna keep on going. Drizzled with olive oil, thick and warm, it was as if the flesh of the olives had just been separated from their stones. As in India, I ate slowly, wanting to remember the feel of flatbread between my fingers and the taste of chickpeas on my tongue. In all the years of making hummus, learning how to turn a page in a book, nothing compared to this. I closed my eyes to take one last delicious bite. If this was Lebanon, then this was love. Returning to the hostel, the common area was thick with travelers, and no sooner did I come back than I leave again, this time in the company of Shadi, a young Christian refugee from Syria who had only just recently taken up residence in Beirut, and Jeremy, a psychologist from Australia who came to Lebanon on holiday from his job as a trauma counselor in the Palestinian city of Ramallah. Both were hungry for food, for conversation, for life. For sometimes what feeds the stomach and what feeds the soul is one and the same. As the hour approached midnight, we walked the darkened streets, determined to find something that might still be open. Soon we stumbled into a restaurant flooded with fluorescent lights that brightened and blurred the surrounding street. At a table surrounded by red plastic chairs, Shadi and Jeremy ate French fries and falafel. In between bites, they spoke in English and Arabic, alternating between the two, as if putting together missing pieces of a puzzle, one word at a time. Both in their 20s, Jeremy was tall and lean with a playful intelligence, which made it difficult to determine when to take him seriously and when not to. He spoke with conviction of his passions, pretty girls, Aussie football, and politics. Shadi had a soft smile and eyes so deep that it was hard to tell when looking into them whether he was near or far away. They both spoke of lost countries, Jeremy of Palestine and Shadi of a home in Damascus, the distance so near, yet separated not just by borders, but by war. When the fries were finished, we retraced our steps back to the hostel and said goodnight in the hallway. That first night I had the room all to myself, a luxury never to be taken for granted in the whirlwind world of backpacking where people come and go in the middle of the night without thoughts of silence or darkness. But tonight the room was quiet, and soon I was asleep. I'm going to read into another chapter. I just want to introduce you to Lebanon. That was my first night there, and we're going to keep on going in the next section, okay?